Hi, it's me. When you think of a time capsule, you might picture a metal box buried in a backyard. It's filled with toys and personal items, then sealed shut to be opened at some point in the far future. While modern time capsules are usually made with good intentions and hopes for the future, sometimes we forget things that end up being far more valuable. Welcome to this series where we explore the many fascinating time capsules that have been lost, forgotten, or intentionally concealed in our past. And today, we're going underwater. From sunken ships, hidden caves, and even lost cities, the ocean has preserved countless artifacts throughout history. These relics often offer a tangible link to our past, allowing us to study ancient life up close. And they don't always have to be super valuable either. Sometimes everyday items can tell us just as much about how people lived thousands of years ago. Take, for example, the many treasures pulled from shipwrecks. From ancient Roman merchant vessels to the Titanic, goods and personal belongings are often jettisoned before a ship sinks, only to be rediscovered by eager archaeologists and treasure hunters centuries later. In 1901, Italian divers recovered an array of ancient weapons, statues and tools from a shipwreck that had sunk near the Greek island of Antikythera. But it was one gear-filled bronze box in particular that really caught their attention. Initially, experts thought the box might contain navigational equipment, or perhaps a musical instrument, but they soon realized they had something much rarer on their hands. This strange device is known as the Antikythera mechanism, and while its exact purpose is still debated by scholars, it's widely considered to be the world's first computer. Dating back to around 200 BC, it may have been used to calculate astronomical positions, predict eclipses, and keep track of dates for religious festivals. Its internal gears and dials would have been incredibly complex for the time period and suggest a high level of technological advancement for ancient Greece. But computers weren't the only thing preserved on the seafloor. Well over 1,000 years later, residents of the Egyptian city of Heracleion would have been using everyday objects very similar to what we use today. During its heyday, the port city was a major hub for trade along the Mediterranean. Goods from across the ancient world flowed through its docks, including wine from Greece, ivory from Africa, and precious metals from the Middle East. The city's strategic location made it extremely wealthy, but also left it vulnerable to attack. By the 4th century AD, Heracleion had been sacked by various invaders, leading to its eventual decline. As the city fell into disrepair, its citizens abandoned it, leaving behind their homes and belongings. Among the most common finds in and around the old city limits are things like lamps, pottery, jewelry, and coins. These mundane objects help paint a vivid picture of daily life during late antiquity, revealing the goods and services that were available in one of the ancient world's busiest cities. Occasionally, the ocean's murky depths will yield up treasures far more valuable than gold. Underwater caves are often home to ancient artwork, shipwrecks, and other submerged cultural heritage sites. This is partly due to their historical use as hiding places, and partly because they were just plain difficult to explore. It was until the invention of scuba diving that humans could truly begin mapping the insides of underwater caves. Since then, explorers have found everything from prehistoric cave paintings to lost Roman mosaics. One of the most famous underwater cave discoveries was made off the coast of the Greek island of Chaparos in 1987, while searching for a lost shipwreck. French diver Jacques Cousteau stumbled upon a collection of marble statues hidden inside an underwater cave. The sculptures dated back to the 5th and 4th centuries BC and included some of the best preserved classical sculptures ever found. They'd likely been submerged when the local ruler hid them to protect them from invaders. And thanks to the cave's stagnant water, they remained in excellent condition. Of course, not all underwater discoveries are quite so dramatic. Personal belongings can reveal just as much about daily life in the distant past. Back in 1973, archaeologists working near the Greek island of Crete came across a small clay cup. It didn't look particularly special, but under closer inspection, they noticed faint lines inscribed around the rim. Once translated, these simple lines told a surprisingly complex story. The cup, now known as the Pythos of Darrow, contained a record of an ancient shipping route. It detailed the transportation of 2,000 jars of oil from Crete to the ancient Mesopotamian city of Darrow. This mundane transaction played an important role in connecting to ancient civilizations and may have helped kickstart trade along the lucrative incense route. So what can these objects teach us about ancient life? For one, they show us how people from the distant past dealt with everyday issues, just like we do today. Ancient Greeks dealing with bureaucratic red tape, Egyptians looking for a good night's sleep, Romans trying to stay afloat in a turbulent economy. History is full of similarities like these. And while studying artifacts is obviously helpful, sometimes it's nice to take a break from dusty old books and focus on something a little more tangible. Maybe these objects can help us understand the people who made them and perhaps learn a few things about ourselves in the process. It's possible that entire museums are hidden beneath the waves, waiting to be discovered. But until technology improves and our oceans become less polluted, the search for them will remain a tricky endeavor. So what do you think? Have you ever seen an artifact that really helped bring history to life for you? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I've been your host. If you'd like to help keep this series afloat, please consider supporting us.